So assembly for that is complete. The injector, the throttle body now, as I was saying earlier, remember there is, do you see this shape in here? Now this is, just remember, gonna go in like this, and then you're not supposed to tighten it here. You move it up slightly like this. I hope that is clear. And now the torqueness is gonna go in here. So you'll see that space up there. This is for sensor, so don't mess with that. Otherwise, it's gonna give a wrong throttle position reading, but nothing too critical. Here we go. Yeah, that's tight. So that's done, and as you see, slight space. Once you open this, just remember where exactly it is. If yours says downwards, then you are supposed to tighten it there. Mine was there, so this is the sensor where it is. Now let's move the throttle. Coming up, back up. Yeah, how clean that is, nice. Now this one, this is aligned at a slightly at a slight angle, so that the access is easy. And this is the angle this will be at. And for this, there is this tiny screw. Let's tighten this one as well. And throttle body is ready as well. This one is for so this one is for throttle position, as I was saying, and this, I don't know what this is for, to be very honest. And here the choke goes in this one. I'll show you that is connected up in the chassis itself. So let's put this back now, and this is how it goes. So putting this back in, as you remember, this o-ring, this bracket was like this, and this got stuck to the head last time, and this is gonna go in like this. Get the fuel line out there, and that is why removing the tank is helpful. You get good access. Be very careful not to drop anything in, and I don't think I can get a very good camera angle, but you get the point. This is in. This nut is going to be tightened now, and the same is going to be done on the other side. Angle is going to be a problem. Well, I hope you can see, but this is the idea. This is the nut. Things are pretty tight, I mean space wise, to get the good camera angle, but I hope you get the point. That one, that is the one that I'm tightening, as long as I can use my fingers. Yeah, that's going in. Yeah, that's stable now. Same on the other side. So yeah, same on this side. This should actually be accessible, I guess. Here you go. But you get the point, right? So let me close this as well. So both of them are in. Now all that's left to do is just make sure that the rubber o-ring that was put in is not coming out from underneath. Yeah, this bracket would have to be opened as well. I have not completely removed it, and it seems it is good to go. Now I can tighten these, so let's do that. So injector body is back in. Now all that is left is connect this wire to, where's the light? Let there be light. To I'll see it now, behind that, into that. I hope you get this socket. This will go up like this straight. Let's connect this. I hope you get that. Let me connect that. This is a better angle. Here it comes. You hear the click. and it's in. Let's move on. Next up, the throttle body itself. Now remember, it is going to go like this. So this side towards the airbox, and the narrow one, this goes towards the intake. And for that, we'll first be using this manifold. So there is up written on this, and this is going to stay up. I've loosened it already, cleaned it. Just apply slight pressure. You can apply slight oil as well. And this is in. This is beautifully in. Screws are in as well. Now let's put this back. I've just put in this manifold, and I was just seeing if you can notice this lip that is being shown here. This has not been nicely done. The airflow is not going to be that smooth. Okay, it's not even the airflow, so it's this way, yeah. So like here you see, this could have been done better. In a better day, maybe I'll just smoothen this out, but now that's okay, not a big deal. Again, this is gonna go in from here and all the way, as you can see, up in there. And finally the nuts. Yeah, this one has nuts. Let me show you. So these 10 mm nuts, they will be tightened here and there. So I hope you get the idea. I cannot record this with one hand, and just use one hand, but you get the idea. Let me tighten these. So yeah, just inserted some cloth, and that is your manifold in as well, as you can see. Now you might have there might be a need to actually hold these Allen keys with the plier. I use this nose pin plier because it was moving around, and then tighten these with 10 mm. These are tight now. Make sure these are tight enough, otherwise it's it is gonna suck in all the air and everything, so that is not gonna be nice. And let's move on. Let's connect the wirings. Next up is gonna be this thing, that is your choke, and I hope you can see that is gonna go in. I did clean it. It is fairly simple. No special tool required for this. This can be tightened with the hand and a set of pliers. Just press it down and do that. Again, I'm going to be needing both hands, but you get the idea. Here it is. Let's do this. Yeah, so that's connected. I have again used a nose plier to tighten that. Now moving next to connecting the throttle position sensor and whatever this thing was. This thing, I don't know. This is the throttle position sensor that is gonna go and connect to this. So let's first make some way for this. Here you go. And there is just one way this is gonna go in, so don't worry, you won't get it wrong. Not until you hear the click. Let me use both hands. Okay, so it clicked. There you have it. Throttle position sensor connected. Moving on next. Whatever this is, again, one way it can go in, and that is this way. Yeah, heard the click here in first go. That is good. And next, this was disconnected. This is throttle cable mount. Now how this will go in is from here. You insert it in, and now let me go to the other side. Now this is the same way you would actually be changing the cable as well, in case you end up breaking it. Now from where can I get a good angle? But anyways, let's try and see how we can do it. So all you have to do is move it up like this with your finger. Now there is a open space. If the camera does not fall, I might actually capture it. So here you go. And there you have it. It is quite easy. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. And there you have it. That's done. Now we'll be tightening 10 mm bolts on this one, which is gonna connect to here. Let's do that. Yeah, so that has been connected as well, these 2 mm. And as I was saying, if you had you have a US spec bike, then you would have a twin throttle cable system, which is mandated. One wire goes this way, and once you rotate it that way, the other one is pulling it this one, and another one is applying pressure this one, so that even if one wire breaks, it doesn't get stuck or anything. Read that somewhere. In India, that is not mandated. Some bikes still use it, but not all of them. So simple enough, single cable, and that is done as well. And our throttle body is set. All that is left is this hose that you see. That is gonna get connected to this. Let's move on. Everything is gonna go back in now. Pretty much the reverse of whatever we did. All the rest of the assembly is back in. Yeah, same way from here. Now some things you might have to remember. If you just forget them, you might have to do it differently. Like you have this cable that connects to your air sensor in this. So let's connect this first. So that has been connected, as you can see. The reason I connected it because afterward there is not going to be any space to connect it if you put everything back. So don't tighten everything, just make sure everything is connected before you start tightening everything. Now this is going to go back into this carefully, just all the mounts. I'm using a camera with one, so that makes it slightly difficult, but you get the idea. There you have it. The manifold is in. Would have to zip tie it only, no other option. We'll get a metal clamp afterwards, not tightening it right now though. And I'm not tightened the main screw on that side yet completely after putting it the throttle body. This one that is, because we would have to move it once we insert the pipe, this pipe here. And of course this is going to come from underneath. And then there is that breather hose from the engine that also has to connect, then the rest of the nuts and bolts, then that bracket. So let's start putting it all back together. So there you have it. You just have to find the way above the wire here, that way. And then you connect this back carefully by moving the throttle body a bit down. That is why I did not tighten it, otherwise it hinders with this pipe. You get the idea. This will go in, then the clamp will go in, then this will go in as well, then the clamp for this will go in. Let me do that. So not tightening anything, and I hope you understand why, because this would have to move about a bit to actually get that clamp that you see there. So that is why don't tighten anything, just tighten everything at the end. Just first connect all the wires and everything. So I hope you can see this one that goes on the top, the evap one, came in from underneath there, just above this, like this, and this has been put in. Now there is a clamp. This will be put now. Where is it? And I think this is what happens when the manufacturer actually has to do something which was originally not designed. BS3, when the bike was designed, this evap unit was not put in, so that is why this is so congested here. But anyways, again, plier, and this will be clamped. So that clamp is back in as well. Next bit, this bracket that goes in to support the airbox will go in. Now remember, this hole would go in that, yeah, better, in there. And again, these will be tightened now, only slightly. I'm not going to tighten them completely because some movement would be required. So let's start with that. So all the 3 nuts have been put, as you can see. 1, these 2 not tightened, and then 3 again, free movement. This is also going to give support basically to put the battery back in, and give some ease in putting the battery back in as well. This is how it is going to slide in easily this time because this is free. These will be tightened later. Now let's put the other one, which was the longer 10mm one that goes behind there. That's there. So let's put that. Now at this point I can start tightening and connecting all the wires and things that are lying there. So let's start with that. Still not putting in that bracket back in here, and not tightened anything yet. The zip tie has to be tightened as well. That would again be done at a later point. Still quite loose, but this is quite in. So yeah, this is fixed. Still I can move it a bit around if some help would be needed. So let's do that now. So herein comes the wiring harness. Now first thing first, it's gonna be this ABS thingy that is gonna get connected. Now as I showed you, all you have to do is just yeah, now you can see better. So all you have to do is just press it back, and this is in place. This is done. This is how they have chosen to put it underneath this. Well, I'm okay with that. Next would be this fuse box assembly that is gonna go in like this. Here you go. This is in. Then your flasher assembly here. That's in here. That's in here. Now next this would go in here. Your ECU is gonna go in once that bracket is put in, but before that we have to tighten those 3 nuts that are down, and these wires would come in from here and here, and we are close to finishing it off. These will be connected to this. So now we are ready to put this bracket in. Now this is the cover, as you know, in which I keep that small toolkit, and again this is gonna slide in from rear. I'm gonna just leave it here, and before you forget, tighten up these 3 nuts, that and this and this. So let's do that. So these 3 have been tightened. At this time it is not going to be moved anymore. This has been aligned at a straighter angle, so I'm going to tighten this Allen key as well. So that's tightened, and that is exactly what we needed up here as well, but they have decided to go for the zip tie. I know I keep repeating that, but this is not the best way to go. Maybe that's why it was so dirty, but let me tighten this. So tighten the zip ply using a plier. Hopefully it should hold. Now to put this bracket back in, you just move it a bit forward first, and then you push it back, and it will go in place, and you'll see these holes match up here and here. So this is aligned now. Once that is done, you just need to make sure that the wire is not getting caught up, and then you plug them back in to those 2 studs. See, almost forgot. Before you do any of that, you need to put the ECU back in those 2 mounts, otherwise you won't have enough space. So let's just first put the bracket back in, then the ABS, I'm sorry, ECU bracket, and then we will put it all together. Yeah, so ECU is back in now, and now I'm gonna just push it back into the place where the studs were. Now these two are gonna go in here, and from underneath will be tightened using these. One goes this side, second one goes that side. So these 4 washers and nuts needs to be tightened. There are already 2 studs, as you might be able to see, one there and one there. So using washer and everything, and then 2 would have come up just about, one here and the second one there. So let's tighten these now. So this has been tightened and is back in place. We are still not connected this bracket that goes in there. We'll first make sure that everything else is connected. So we'll get this wire set. It's a bit easy to get it in place. Here you go. Here it is. Same we'll do for the positive one. To get this one now, the positive one is again easy. Just slide it here. Make sure that one is not connected to any or touching any metal part like this. It's in air. So I can put this one in. So that is through. And then again, after that, you can put in the mount. And there goes your mount. You get the idea. I mean, just have to use both hands maybe, or yeah, both with single hand. So that's done. I'll be connecting my mobile charger. Also, I have added this bracket for electric pump, so I'll be connecting this as well. Red positive, red again positive, red positive. Let me connect this. So yeah, the battery, everything has been connected. Positive to positive, negative to negative. Rest will be connecting all the wires. We'll be putting this bracket back in as well. That goes in here. And to begin with that, we'll finally tighten the nut that was here. That's tight. Now let's put the bracket. Now this time we'll be using the 12 mm spanner for this nut. This portion will go up, and this one has an inbuilt welded 10 mm one that will be connected lower. So let's connect this. So the one on the top has been connected. Now the 10 mm one will go down. Before you completely tighten this, just make sure this one aligns properly. So there you have it, and therein goes the 10 mm one. Yeah, so tightening this. That is good to go. Now we can finally tighten this one as well. You get the idea. Now slight goof up. There is no space for the battery bracket to go in. That something had to go wrong, and these many nuts and bolts are to be tightened. That is because of this ABS wire that is coming, that is touching here. No problem. What I have done is I have opened up just this one nut so that I can move it a bit down, and then move this cable a bit behind like this, and now we are good to go. I'm not going to tighten it as of right now, as hopefully you could see. So I moved it from here to come from there, and now I can move this back in place. So that is why I do it, so that you can learn from my mistakes and do it right the first time. And here you go. So the bracket is back in. Now I can put in the 10 mm one and tighten this from underneath here, that stud, and that cable rests in there. So that's sorted. Now finally we'll just put this one in, tighten it, and connect all the wiring. That's done. Now let's connect the wiring. That is simple. Red goes to red, white goes to white, and then there are these two coming from the ABS and the rear brake, and then this one here, all these are pretty simple, and this one will be connected, this will be connected once the tank is put back in, and we are good to go. Let me connect all the wires. Now let's put the tank back. You already know, I'll put the link in the description, and I think I will have to divide this video into two. So the first part would be how to take it all out and put it back in, and the second part would be just how to bring the throttle body as well as the injector manifold out and the cleaning process and all that. So this would be in two videos, and I'll put everything back. Don't have to record that. I'll start this and I'll record that portion though. Okay, let's start it. Yeah, that's a stagnant startup. Earlier it was going all the way from 13, 14, 1500 to 2000, 2100 even. It was about time. So rest I'll just be putting these back in, and that was it. Hope this was helpful. Yeah, so as I was saying, hope this does help, and if you want to give it a shot, a bit tedious, a bit lengthy, but not difficult. I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy if you know what all is to be done. Thanks, bye.